we are using. So not every consumer is using the same products and services. So definitely, the inflation for some people may be in, very close to 50-60%. For other consumers, it may be 12-15%, but it will go at least 25-30%, even in countries such as the ASEAN region and other areas. So that is very common. So that is the economic point of view. When we look at from geopolitical point of view, because right now there is a bill between Iran and the other Gulf countries, where they have to decide where to go. Because especially the countries like Saudi Arabia, the things may become very messy because they have their energy requirements, especially by 2030 and 2050. Oil is running out. They have to move towards a digital economy. And if they do not address this issue, then it will be a major challenge. If you look at UAE, investment is already started now, and the reason is that investors do not make it. The reason why we do not have investment in Pakistan is because of the law situation there in Pakistan. So it will continue for that. Okay, if you don't mind me, first of all, I'd like to ask you, is this a new growth now in been living for a very long time? How would they survive in this situation? Are they having the same situation what we are having? Because we are determining our prices on a regular basis. I mean, is this the correct? Is this the right policy that we have? We should adopt. Is this the right way to things get better, control the situation, whole situation? I would like to ask you this. People really want to know what is exactly happening in this part of the world. That we are, just changing our economic policy on a daily basis. Is this going to work? That's my question. Um, it's a very interesting question from the viewpoint of the purchasing power of the people in Pakistan. If you look at Vietnam, the oil petrol prices change quite often, right, not on daily basis, but quite often. In Pakistan, long ago, I was working with Shell, so I get to know about the freight equalization margin, where all over the country the petrol prices remain the same, and the freight charges that are paid by, for example, consumers in Lahore or Islamabad or Peshawar are borne by all the people. So theoretically, fuel prices in Karachi should be lower because there is no freight charges. In other parts of the world, sorry, in other parts of the country, the freight charges are much higher. Now, if you look at Germany, for example, the petrol prices change every day, but they can increase only once, but they can reduce as many times as they want. But they cannot increase more than one time every day. So that is one thing. But Germany is a developed economy. Their people have more purchasing power, much higher purchasing power. In Vietnam, the situation is let me give you a little bit background for that. So the currency of Vietnam is called Dong, and it's for $1 US dollar you can get roughly about 26,500. Right. So the petrol prices before the war was roughly about 21,000. It went up to 31, and currently it is hovering somewhere around 52,000, 63,000, which is roughly about 240, 250 rupees. So from that perspective, definitely Vietnam is quite insulated. Number one, there are other sources of fuel as well, not only from the country, but from the Vietnam does have its own crude oil exploration in both our regions, also in Vietnam. So from that perspective, the fuel prices is not a major concern. However, inflation is controlled. I would say it's hovering around 6%. It's too high. And again, as I mentioned last week, that in Pakistan there's a need for everyone in the family to eat. Unfortunately, in Pakistan, one person is earning and everybody is enjoying. So what we call my brother is in Saudi. Right? That's how unfortunate that is. That's unfortunate. It's going to change. It has to change. Otherwise, we will
Very.
not survive.
Also, I would like to ask, how do you see the situation of America and Iran? Is it going to remain stagnant, or is it going to very
The situation that is going on right now is something very similar to what happened in Vietnam and US. Uh, the chances for this global war is there. Right now, it looks very prominent. And the reason for that is that we can see a very big shift in the attitude and sentiments of Arab countries as well. They are trying to get rid of certain assets in the country that will destabilize them. If from Iran point of view, I would say that they are fighting for their survival. From U.S. point of view, they are looking into they are fighting for control over the trade. How things will go in the future, we will see. However, if Ukraine or other countries jump into this war, then the situation will become very bad. Because on one end, we have the whole Europe, as you mentioned earlier about NATO. That could be very interesting. And then, of course, Russia is not going to leave its allies, which is Iran.
The things that are started working now.
Yeah.
Situation is getting worse now. And you rightly mentioned that Ukraine is now getting hard. It is very alarming, and know, things are getting worse. It's a clear threat to everyone in this region, Pakistan, for the Pakistan, for Iran, of course, and for the China and Russia as well. So we are having this world of pain now.
It is indeed. What I could say about China is that China does not get involved. What
Directly.
they do directly or indirectly, directly for sure, indirectly, they would provide probably logistic support and others, but they don't do more. If they want to control the region, they do it economically. So that's a very different approach. On the other hand, if you look at India briefly, also they are playing role which is very meaningful, I would say, to the very least, because they are playing on every side.
Yeah.
And that's why the world is getting fed up of their tactics,
Hmm.
and then they are facing the backlash. But for Pakistan, it's very interesting because we are in the past we were sitting next to Afghanistan. Right now, we are sitting next to Iran, and that's not going to go very well if the situation escalates. Uh, the chances for that, if Ukraine goes into war, is that they do have some expertise in shooting down the drones. However, they have to fight for their own country first, rather than jumping into a deeper war with the US. But let's see how things unfold.
Okay. Now, let's talk about our economy. When we
Yeah.
say that we need to have some plan for consistent economic policy, we don't have that anymore. We don't see policy which can support our economy in this situation or any work.
Yeah. You
How can
already
we
answered
survive? Yes.
survival.
Uh, Interesting question. So let's go back to 50s or in Pakistan. Pakistan was the poster child of economic development everywhere in the
Very
world.
well.
In 1950s, Dr. Mahbubul Haq made the 5 years plan. That was taken by Korea,
Hmm.
South Korea. They implemented it. You can see the economy of South Korea right now.
Many of us don't know.
And it's really, really amazing. I mean, South Korea economy has developed so much. If you take into account four largest companies of South Korea, Samsung, then you have LG, which is the fourth company, then we have Kia and Hyundai. So these four companies are huge
Conglomerate.
conglomerates, and they are really, really huge. Probably their revenues are many times of Pakistan GDP. So what happened with Pakistan is that we went into wars. We have gone through a certain period of destabilization. I think the biggest challenge was in 70s, where a lot of things happened, from Bangladesh to nationalization to all the
War.
war and everything else. So there are so many things. Then in 19s, the things go down there as well, because of a variety of reasons. And then we have seen the recent time in the last 10, 15 years.
The
Um,
war against terrorism.
Yeah.
exactly. So if I give an example of two countries, let's say Thailand and Vietnam. Thailand has faced a lot of political turmoil,
Yes.
and we see that the economy is not doing very well. The growth is stagnant right
Yes.
now. We look at Vietnam. Vietnam has one word, and then they have elections. You have to choose someone to name. So the policy continues, and that's very important that whoever comes in power, the policy should continue. If the policy does not continue, investors will be very scared to invest in
But
countries.
Doctor, we think the things are working for Vietnam right now. That growth is, turning out to be the huge in terms of numbers. 400 billion dollars.
Million
That
dollars.
is for real. You know, they have
Four
achieved
hundred
now.
billion.
And you are saying that the consistent policy doesn't really work. I mean, it's hard to understand. We don't even cross, $25 billion idea now. And speaking of Vietnam, they have got $400 billion. How does it work? How, they get managed to make such policies to achieve this huge amount of profit, this huge number, I would say.
Sure. So Vietnam current exports are well over 500 billion, and they have achieved through certain measures they put in place. Number one, education.
Yes.
90% literacy rate. People are learning the skills. They are going for those. That's something that is more in demand. Number one. Number two, they have the policies that are
And consistent work.
and justice. Exactly. Number three,